guys! Today I'm going to be doing the Frances Hodgson Burnett tag. I was tagged by Anne over at In Search of Wonder, so thank you so much for the tag. I have read only, so this is a very short tag. It's only got 3 questions based on 3 of Frances Hodgson Burnett's books, and I have only read 2 of those books actually. But anyway, I'd seen this tag before. I think I saw it over on Candlewick Library, and I thought about doing it then, and then Anne tagged me, so I was like, okay, well, now I have a good excuse. So, without further ado, let's just get started. So the first question is, in A Little Princess, Sarah demonstrates the power of imagination. What book or books awakened your imagination? So I have a couple of books that really inspire my imagination here, and Little Princess is one of the ones that I read. I really love that book. It's so wonderful. I really need to reread that, too, as an adult. And I like how all of the movies change the ending. Yes, approve. Anyway, so the first series that I have here is the Alon series. I am hoping to start a reread for this, like, this week. By the time you see this video, hopefully I've already started it. But I really adored this series. As a teenager, I discovered it when I was, like, 12 maybe? And it's so much fun. It's, let's see, YA, Christian, medieval, non-magical fantasy. Lots of adjectives there, but yeah, it's so good. Book 1 is very much like a David-esque story, like from the Bible. Not quite like a David retelling, but it's similar to David. It was so good. I really love this book, and I spent a lot of time imagining myself in this world. Alright, next. The next book I have for this prompt, because there's only 3 prompts, so I just went ahead and picked out a couple books for each prompt. So, next one that I have is The Door Within trilogy by Wayne Thomas Batson, and I definitely remember also reading this as a teenager-ish, and just loving this series as well, and reading this and then imagining myself being in this world. So I'm going to say this one as well. Again, Christian, non-magical fantasy. This one is about a kid who, his grandfather gets sick, and so he and his parents have to move across the country, and then when he gets there, he finds somehow a weird scroll that when he reads it, he gets transported into another world. It's a portal fantasy. And yeah, it was really good. Alright, next is Little Lord Fauntleroy is a book that demonstrates the kindness of a child. What book or books show kindness in a character, especially kind children? I've not read Little Lord Fauntleroy, however you say that word. Probably should, because like I said, I like the other 2 books in this tag. So, yeah, I ought to read that, but I haven't. Alright, so my first book that I've got is Mallory Towers. I read this past year after having seen the TV show, but especially, like, in book 1, like, there's a lot of just sweetness between these girls. It's a bunch of girls in a boarding school in England, in, like, post-World War II England, and yeah, Daryl, the main character, makes friends. There's one girl who is not so much their friend, but they're just all very sweet and kind to each other, so that was good. And then, the other one that I've got for this one is Wingfeather Saga, of course, by Andrew Peterson. And I'm especially thinking, obviously, the kind children would be the Igabys. And I'm especially thinking of how they treat Pete the Stockman. Again, especially at the beginning, when they don't know certain things. But yeah, very kind children in this one as well. Especially Lily. Lily is so sweet. I love her. Lily the lizard kicker. So good. Alright. The Secret Garden has a beautiful found family theme. What other book reads do you love with a found family theme? And I loved Secret Garden as a kid too. I read, like, Secret Garden and Little Princess are 2 of the classics that I read as a kid that I loved. I didn't love a whole bunch of classics as a kid, but these 2 I did. Alright, so my first answer for found family is Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart. Oh my goodness, this series is so good. And the found family is just precious. You take 4 kids who don't have anybody, and then, so you've got 4 kids who don't have any family, pretty, well, one of them does, but, like, they're not the best. In this book, they wind up, yeah, but the others are orphans, don't have anybody, and then, they all come together, and Mr. Benedict sends them off to do a mission, and as they're off, They argue like any kids would, but they do eventually come around to just being great friends, and it's precious. And I love this series so much. All right, and then my other answer for this book, or for this prompt, is Curse of the Spider King by Wayne Thomas Batson, and Christopher Hopper. But really, it's the whole Barenfell Prophecy series, because this series is about 7 kids who find out that they are actually elf lords and there's women too, girls too, but they're also called lords because they didn't know the terminal. I don't know why they called the girls lords actually. But anyway, these 7 kids are told this, and then they are told that they're the heirs to the thrones in this other world. This is another Portal fantasy. Wayne Batson writes a lot of Portal fantasy. I don't know if any of the ones that he writes aren't. None of the ones I've read are not Portal fantasy. Yeah, that was not maybe the best grammar, but you know what I mean. So they find out that they have powers, and they have to go back to their world and take it back from the Spider King. And I really loved this series. And they wind up, of course, growing close, and really they do become a family by the end. And it's great. This series is so wonderful. Okay, now, those of you who've been here longer than one video are sitting there like, wait a minute, did Morgan just manage to do a tag without the Chronicles of Narnia? And the answer is, no, of course I didn't. Here it is. I'm out of questions, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to mention Narnia, because Narnia actually hits all of these prompts for me. So obviously Narnia was the first book to awaken my imagination. I read the other 2 as teenagers. I can't even remember the first time I read Narnia, but it was probably around the time that Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came out in theaters, and I was like 6 when that movie came out in theaters. So yeah, don't remember the first time I read Narnia, but oh my goodness, the number of hours that I have spent imagining myself in Narnia, I could have done something a lot more productive than that, probably, in those hours. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But yeah, definitely fits that prompt. And then the next prompt was the kindness of a child. And of course, I mean, Narnia's, the main characters are all children. And honestly, the scene with Lucy and Mr. Tumnus after he reveals he was planning to kidnap her is just, yes. And oh my goodness, yes, that scene. Just, that's the kindness of a child right there. And then the last one was Found Family. And admittedly, there's a little bit less of it in here than you would think that my favorite series would have one of my favorite tropes. But still, you could argue that like the Pevensies and Caspian become kind of a family, especially like on the Dawn Treader. And then they like adopt Eustace as another sibling. And then just by the end, the whole, all the Friends of Narnia, I would say, are kind of like a family. So yes, of course I have to mention Narnia. Narnia fit every prompt. How could I not just save it and talk about it at the end? So anyway, that is the tag. Thank you again to Anne for tagging me. I am going to tag... I'm going to tag Old American Spirit, because she just read a book, I think, about the Secret Garden. So I thought I would go ahead and tag her. And then I will also tag Lindsay from BFCG, who also recently read she actually read recently The Secret Garden. So I figured this would be a good tag for me to tag her in. Yeah, obviously no pressure to do it. Just do it if you want to. If you don't, you don't have to. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know your answers to these questions in the comments down below. And I will, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Oh, and also please make sure to go and leave me questions on my community post for my Q&A that's upcoming for my 100 subscribers special. Yeah. Make sure to do that. I know several people already have, but just if you have any questions for me, just go leave them there, and I will answer those in that special that's coming up.